Welcome back to RSBN Live from Auburn, Alabama. We're covering the executive orders yet to be signed by President Trump. I'm Robert McNeely with Matthew Alvarez.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, that's right. We are live right now as it's 2:32 Eastern, getting ready to return to the White House after that great press briefing by the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. As we watch and see President Trump go from executive order to executive order to executive order, all of them about making America great again, including this one today about keeping men out of women's sports. It's something that, Robert and I have seen, and others here at the network. Every time President Trump on the campaign trail would talk about this specific issue, would it not get a huge round of applause and people would stand up and go nuts for this?
Well, this is bipartisan support regardless of the party or background. We saw parents fighting over this against school boards in Virginia and throughout the country. Even legislation at the House levels of the Peach State of Georgia, they passed a version of this to protect women from biological men in their sports. And then also, I was scrolling through social media and Representative Jenna Powell out of Ohio urging Ohio to pass similar legislation, and that this day is a victory for all women, really for all of America, for common sense, because we know Riley Gaines has worked so hard for this. They had to deal with Leah Thomas, a biological man who was undressing in their locker room. Their team was not given any update. These are, of course, very successful swimmers, but no woman should have to be put through this, and quite frankly, it was sexual harassment at the end of the day.
100%. So we'll see here that be signed into law right inside that White House from President Trump. A lot happening right now, specifically at 2:30. We know that the Texas Governor Greg Abbott is meeting with President Trump at the White House right now, obviously going over a lot of the southern border, I'm sure. And then a bit later at 3 o'clock, the East Room will have that live coverage for you for the executive order signing. And then also behind closed doors without the press, another meeting for the president, this time the California governor, Gavin Newsom. So a lot still to be had, including the fact that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is here throughout the week in Washington, D.C.
That will be an important meeting regarding the announcement yesterday during the press conference between the president and the prime minister in regards to how to handle the relocation now of 1.8 million Palestinians. So that was somewhat of a surprise announcement, and Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, covering that in the press briefing the last hour. And some in the press were literally pressing the idea that there would be boots on the ground. And she said, I did not say that. President Trump did not say that either. We are looking at different peaceful options to relocate temporarily the Palestinian people to fix what President Trump called a demolition area. It's been completely destroyed, the Gaza area, and this was really because of October 7th of 2023 when Hamas attacked the state of Israel. That was followed by Hezbollah to the north in Lebanon, and of course the Houthi rebels funded by the Iranian regime. And President Trump signing an executive order yesterday in the Oval Office saying that he wants Iran to be a peaceful nation, a prosperous nation, and sharing that on Truth Social today. Wants nothing but the best for the Persian people, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. They are run by a regime of Shia clerics that are extreme, that are radical, that are attempting to destabilize the region. So it'll be very interesting to see those policies moving forward. But President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu really in lockstep. Prime Minister Netanyahu saying yesterday that there has been no better friend to Israel than President Donald Trump.
Exactly. And while I'm working here, while you're speaking, the White House did send out some information about the current state of affairs is not what Palestinians voted for. And there are a number of talking points that I'm working to get onto the iPad here to share with you. But, at the end of the day, we know President Trump working for the American people and also indirectly really for the free world as well. Mm-hmm. So obviously, President Trump working at historic speed and strength as the commander-in-chief of the White House and the leader of the free world. So looking forward to seeing this bill or this executive order signed today, because at the end of the day, sports is obviously a huge thing for our country. And men play in men's sports, women play in women's sports, and that's how it's always been until the woke ideology started to weed its way in there. And people thought being PC was cool. Well, PC and cancel culture, it's out to pasture, because now it's common sense back to the White House.
And ultimately, this is a safety issue. We saw with San Jose State having to be disqualified from certain volleyball tournaments as well in November because they had a large West Coast swing in the fall, and there was a biological man on that team, and then this being held up in different courts throughout the country. The problem is, when a man spikes a volleyball, on average, even an experienced volleyball player will hit that roughly 20 miles per hour harder than a female. So you're talking about broken facial muscles or accidents. So this is just, it's absurd. And it really is a discredit and a disservice to women and the beauty that they truly are. There's a reason there's two different sexes. This is really a spiritual battle that's going on as well. And good to see President Trump over the last couple of weeks as well saying that there are only two genders, biologically speaking, male and female. So common sense coming back to the White House.
In every level, it seems, as well. The common sense leadership that we see from the 47th Commander-in-Chief. He also talked about on the campaign trail the Italian female boxer that faced someone that was not a female, and it was just this whole thing there, of course, and she was, I remember on social media, seen crying after that, just wanting to fight for her dad and others, and it was just a kind of an awful situation. So that is a great win today that's about to happen from the executive branch, from President Trump. And then we can enjoy watching sports again in the sense of 100% of the sports. You know, speaking of that, coming up in 4 days from now is the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59, where President Trump will be the first sitting president to attend a Super Bowl, which Robert and I were pretty surprised at that. We maybe thought maybe at least one president showed up at a game, but that's not the case. And I believe we might have a live look at the Superdome as we are getting ready to go to the East Room of the White House as well, as the game, of course, played in New Orleans on Sunday. Again, the Chiefs against the Eagles. I say the Eagles will win, and Robert says the Chiefs will win. So we'll see what happens.
What say you? Send us your thoughts, feedback at RSBN.TV, whether it's the Super Bowl or whether it's any public policy item that you are passionate about, especially if it's happening in your neck of the woods, because RSBN Live not only is inside of the Beltway, but outside of the Beltway, covering those important stories affecting all of America, especially today as Title IX is once again defended. The Biden regime reversed on this common sense item that has brought Republican and Democrats together.
Exactly. So it's going to be great. A lot of obviously huge ratings there for the Super Bowl, like every Super Bowl. But this time to have a sitting president in the building and other so-called superstars like, you know, Taylor Swift and others will be there in New Orleans as we all watch the game together. And if we're working, specifically if Robert and I are working, hopefully we'll catch some things here on Right Side Broadcasting Network as well on Sunday. But always a fun game to watch. And if you're not into NFL and you like college football, I understand, because we've got some college football fans here, including Robert right here.
Especially being in Auburn, Alabama, one of the finest college towns in all the land.
Yeah, definitely. So, and a shout out to all of you out there, wherever you're watching, and any alums from all across the country. All right, so we're about 20 minutes away from going to the East Room of the White House. So looking forward to seeing the president. This is going to be the nth time that we've seen him, which is great, because at the end of the day, we're getting a lot of transparency with the White House, with the press briefings and the executive order signings, and you're knowing exactly what the president's up to. And also, this goes in line with all of those 20 core promises that he and the RNC has shared through that platform, those promises to the American people. So looking forward to all of that.
Especially getting men out of women's sports. It should have never happened in the first place, but the woke mind virus got to some people, and especially throughout academia, but that will be changing as this will now become a directive that is law in the land. And we've seen it for many other state legislatures. Recently, Ohio and Georgia passing their own form of protections for women and Title IX.
Exactly. So we'll see all of that here shortly. And who will be in the East Room with the president when this is all signed? You mentioned possibly Riley Gaines and Paula Scanlon as well. We know definitely that she's there, right?
She is there today. Looking forward to seeing her behind the president. And, of course, Sage Steele, who was actually in the press conference with Caroline Levitt and actually asked the first question. So a lot of work has been done behind the scenes for many courageous people who have put themselves out there in order to get this day accomplished. So thank you to President Trump, and thank you to all of those brave women out there who defended biological science.
Exactly. You know, and having Paula Scanlon on the network here on Right Side, of course, and also Sage Steele, we've interviewed her. And then even Riley Gaines, seeing her in various events, whether it's TPUSA in Arizona or maybe at MSG for one of the rallies. You know, these are great conservative women that are rock stars, not only because they're conservatives, but the athletic ability, and also for Sage to be able to be in the sports world for so long and really, you know, come out and say, you know what, I'm on Team Trump with this. Let's do this right. And she had that awesome opportunity months ago in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, to host one of the remarks that President Trump was having there. So we'll take more of that. And how about Danica Patrick and others out there? So specifically talking about having the men and women, you separate when it comes to sports, right? So no men and women's sports, and that's what we're going to see today.
You know, and these were individuals who were not driven to politics outside of simply common sense. So they had seen this, they had been victims of, in my view, sexual harassment, and they responded to the call and put themselves out there, and they have helped make America great again. So 2.5 weeks into this, President Trump setting the ship back in the right direction, on the right side of history.
Exactly. So we'll show you that part of it here soon, in about 15 minutes or so. And then also, as soon as we get any live feeds or a recorded just moments ago feed from the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and the Prime Minister of Israel, we'll bring that to you. And then also following a lot of various stories that are happening out there, including a rally that's a small group of people with a number of Democrat leaders in Washington rallying for foreign aid when it comes to the USAID. But we know now that USAID is an absolute horrific joke, and it has been going toward a number of causes that are all basically anti-American, and also going to Politico. About $8 million. We saw the receipts, MTG talking about it as well. And Politico comes off as we are a very this and that organization. Well, the facts are the facts about it. So it's quite interesting to see that. And
Caroline was asked that question. I'm not sure from where the reporter was, what outlet that was, but she's mentioned that Politico does have a seat in the press briefing room, and then that they have received that amount of funding from the federal government. So then it becomes state-run media. Just some other things we've highlighted on the show here from USAID, which now Secretary of State Marco Rubio is the acting director of that, as it ceased to operate its funding at the moment. And that's why some of these Democrats out there protesting these things. But this is what they're pushing, $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. Of course, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, and hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, and even fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy seed trade and cultivation of heroin products in Afghanistan. Of course, this benefits the Taliban and help them fund 9/11 and other terrorist acts throughout the last quarter century. So that's where your tax money is going, and that's why Pam Bondi has issued a memorandum over at the Justice Department as well, supporting Section 8 of U.S. Code 1324. If you harbor an illegal alien, you will be prosecuted up to a year in jail, if not more. It's a felony, so this includes even elected officials. So Governor J.B. Pritzker, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, looking at Illinois, for example, you're going to be on the record for harboring illegal aliens. Be prepared to face the legal consequences. Things have changed in the last 2.5 weeks in America.
Yeah.
Common sense back to the land.
I mean, this is just the third week into the administration, and at historic speed, we're seeing a lot of things done. And we're obviously reporting on it here at the network, including the press secretary, Caroline Levitt, announcing that DOJ is cutting all funding to Politico and other media outlets funded by USAID. Does that mean that these different media outlets deserve even a seat in the press briefing room? On top of that, if they do, maybe they should be sitting maybe in the 10th row toward the back and allow people that are more conservative or just more about we the people not bought and paid for, agencies similar to this one right here, Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, we have great sponsors at the network, and also a number of donations from we the people out there. So grassroots organization right here at the network. One of those sponsors is Colonial Metals Group as well. So all you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com for more information on this great product. At the end of the day, this info kit gets you to the great product, all about gold and silver as a backup plan to the dollar.
Go ahead now and scan that QR code. Shield your savings now, because we know that this is the time-tested currency, gold, silver, precious metals, that can withstand whoever is in charge and whatever government it might be. So whether it's the 13th century or the current time, 2025, we know inflation and the national debt skyrocketing under the last administration. So protect yourself now and your family from inflation and protect your retirement.
Exactly. So it's freegoldguide.com is the website, /RSBN if you'd like, and you can get that free gold kit sent right to your mailbox and get the ball rolling there with this great company, Colonial Metals Group. Also interviewing the founder and owner of the group, Paul Stone, in a couple days. Looking forward to airing that interview here at the network. And isn't that cool? We always are working with these great companies that are patriotic, that have great products as well. So it's really awesome. It's a win-win.
Right, it really is for the American people and for the new media. Of course, Caroline Leavitt announced last week at her first press briefing, whitehouse.gov/new media, 10,000 applications as of last Wednesday, a week ago today, for people who are interested in covering this White House. So it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's the most transparent administration in American history.
So what you'll see more on the conservative side, which I've seen, is more people with a pep in their step, the happy warrior aspect to it. But unfortunately, earlier when we went out to that USAID or the rally for foreign aid from the Democrats out there, you're seeing people that are in Democrat leadership that are speaking with such hate in their system that you could just tell with the nonverbal communication, which I've learned in communications back in the day in college is about 96% of communication is nonverbal. So you could just tell, how that, it was Cory Booker at the time and others, Adam Schiff and others throughout the week. I mean, what we're hoping for is less hate, more love. I get that sounds nice in a fairy tale, but at the end of the day, it's the truth. Why not have more of that, than the other side of the coin? So we're about 11 minutes from the East Room signing of this executive order. Looking forward to that. If you're just joining us right now, we're told that the president is meeting with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. I'm sure discussing that southern border. Just imagine, obviously we're down here in Alabama, but just a few states over in Texas. The people that are in McAllen, Texas, right on the border there. Across the border is Reynosa, Mexico. The point is, just imagine living in southern Texas and seeing now troops on the border and also Mexican troops on the other side of the wall. That must feel a lot better actually than the previous administration.
Well, at least for the safety. And you have the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers helping out the Marines on the ground to secure those holes and the fencing area that's not yet complete. So I'm sure if you're a rancher down there, it's a new dawn, a new day. And we know those congressional districts had voted Democrat for a long time. The average salary income around there, $30,000 to $35,000 per year. So this group of people, very much blue collar, laborers, and great Americans, and Texans and of Mexican heritage as well, sometimes generational. So they feel really a connection to the land right along the border. And sadly, they have seen how unsafe it's become, especially around the Rio Grande Valley. And that's why I think you saw such a shift on the southern border, specifically in Texas. Once large Democrat congressional districts and boundaries now really shifted towards President Trump and supporting him, especially in the Hispanic community.
If we have, producer, the video from the southern border of the soldiers and our Marines repairing the wall, or at least shoring it up, if we can play that, that'd be great, as we can just show and tell a little bit of what we're talking about. I mean, this is within the past week that we have these great service members of our military We have about 4,100 of Army and the Marines, and also the National Guard, and now even Texas, bringing down some of the border security there. As we're taking a live look there, I believe this will next be possibly at the Pentagon there to the left. What I do know is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, will be meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, and I believe that is maybe that's one of the flags there. I'm not sure because it's folded up, but it looks like we'll be seeing the live feed of the Secretary of Defense meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. That was also on schedule today, so we'll go to that as soon as that starts there, as you are looking live to the White House and possibly that may be the Pentagon there, as we get ready to toss a number of things, live events from the Pentagon over to the White House as well in just a bit.
And it looks like Secretary Hegseth will be ironing out some of these more complicated details with Prime Minister Netanyahu in regards to this potential relocation of Palestinian individuals who are in Gaza. And as President Trump said, it's a demolition zone. There's an opportunity now to really make a revival happen in that region. And we'll need some key partners to assist in that. A complicated situation, but that has never scared President Trump from getting into the art of the deal and making good things happen for the American people and our friends around the world.
Definitely. A lot happening within the D.C. Beltway today. Of course, 395, 495, right around D.C. A lot going on at the Pentagon and the White House right now. At the White House, Governor Greg Abbott is meeting with the president, and then the president will go to the East Room to sign an executive order about keeping men out of women's sports. We'll have that live here for you. And then the left side of your screen, why don't we go there live as we see some of our military service members. I believe, again, I haven't heard confirmed reports, but that this is at the Pentagon here. But we do know the Secretary of Defense will be meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. Let's go there live in D.C.
Ready, front! Ceremonial. At ease. Yeah, I'll stay up to the front. Yeah. Oops, sorry, who's behind me? Tara, you're the pool person who's going up. Okay, when you get ready, you've got to come around this fence. You can't cut through the... Okay. Same with you. You got to go around that way, okay? All right.
Pentagon, there's people outside, of course, as we get ready to see the Secretary of Defense and the Prime Minister of Israel there shortly. As you see at the bottom of your screen, awaiting President Trump to sign executive orders. That's inside, of course, the White House, and we'll bring that to you as we get it. Now, the question is, will this event that's happening, will it happen outside or inside the Pentagon? I'd be surprised if it's happening outside, but if it does, I'm sure, obviously, it's the Pentagon, so there's a lot of security there, as the Prime Minister of Israel and then the Secretary of Defense will be meeting there, and hopefully we'll hear from them and specifically hear what they're talking about when it comes to what is the game plan of action here, or is it something that you kind of see how things go over the course of the next couple of days. And to the press conference earlier, the press briefing, can you share with us some of the details that you learned with Carolyn Levitt talking about various things with Gaza?
Yes, no firm commitment on troops. She was pressed by many reporters regarding, is it worth it to have boots on the ground for American soldiers to, say, defend other territories, other nations, in a sense, a departure, quote unquote, by some in the room asking the question, is President Trump sticking to his pledge to not nation build? Doesn't this go against peace through strength? And Caroline Levitt said, our wonderful press secretary, no, this is in fact just out of the box thinking on President Trump's side of the coin, because he said yesterday in that press conference, we cannot continue to repeat history here of generational fighting and Shia extremism really trying to eliminate the Jewish people. There has to be something outside the box to make this all work out, because he wants peace through strength. He wants people to thrive wherever it is they call home. So he has suggested, the president, that perhaps a temporary relocation in Jordan, in Egypt, perhaps Saudi Arabia. We do know those governments are saying no at the moment, but go back 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, Mexico, Canada also saying that they would not tolerate the tariffs, that they would not participate in border security. That changed quickly when President Trump was on the phone with the Mexican president and the Prime Minister of Canada, almost instantly, in fact. So there's a lot of the art of the deal happening in real time, and I'm sure that Secretary Hegseth, with his military experience, will help assist with that. So some of the fake news trying to push a narrative on Secretary Leavitt and the president, and of course, not succeeding in that.
Exactly. Definitely a bold option there from President Trump yesterday. As we know that the signature of his first administration was promises made, promises kept. It will be the same here for the second one, as we see a live picture there outside of the Pentagon, getting ready to go there for the Secretary of Defense and the Prime Minister of Israel. Now, here's the thing. If for some reason the president starts to sign executive orders, especially the no men and women's sports at the East Room of the White House, we'll go there first, and we'll still be able to record the situation outside of the Pentagon, and then we'll toss to that as soon as the executive orders are complete. So everything is in real time right now. Obviously, we're not going to show you two things at once, so we're going to have to show you one. And of course, we will always yield to the president as being the commander-in-chief, and then we will show you a moments ago replay of what you're about to see there with the Pentagon. So two live vantage points, the Pentagon and the White House, two very powerful buildings, of course, as we look to see the president here shortly in just about a couple minutes. If it's on time, of course, we'll be being able to carry the coverage regardless of which way it goes. So, we see that the Secretary of Defense has been quite busy as well.
Oh, yes.
In Fort Bliss, Texas, the other day, visiting with service members down there as they get deployed along the border to shore up the border wall as well. And then, of course, now meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. So quite the job for all of these cabinet members that have been sworn in, including Pam Bondi from earlier today. So it's just a lot of work to get done for the American people.
As law enforcement says, these are not suits, quote unquote. There are people who put on the uniform, who have served their country, who have the resumes to take on these extraordinary roles and are so much better than their predecessors on so many different levels. We had Pete Hegseth, as you said, Matthew, on the border, visiting with troops. Think about Kristi Noem as the Secretary of Homeland Security, going on an ICE raid with state, local, and federal authorities in New York City to put away the worst of the worst. She actually encountered those who are in possession of child pornography, who are charged with crimes against children, sexual acts, terrible, terrible crimes, the worst of humanity. These are the people we're dealing with, and we know Stephen Miller, the deputy chief over at the White House for President Trump, just stating on other networks that these aren't people who come for the correct jobs, the agricultural jobs, things like that, this narrative of who's going to now pick crops, that people are being removed from the country. No, these people were violating their status. They were coming here illegally. They broke the law that way, and then creating heinous crime. And just we've seen this with Laken Riley and Rachel Moore and Jocelyn Nungaray, and that's what led to the Laken Riley Act, a bipartisan bill that President Trump signed into law roughly 10 days ago.
Exactly. Every kind of crime, from assault to sex crimes to murder and on. Now we know with President Trump, the common sense is back and the law and order is increasing across our land. So it's wonderful to see that. We're covering each of those executive orders also as they come. And we're going to go to the White House here shortly for the No Men and Women's Sports executive order signed into law. So great to see that. And this is a win for athletes everywhere across this nation. So it'll be great to hear from the president, and also if any of the great conservative athletes that we have out there, Riley Gaines or Paula Scanlon, or even Sage Steele, even though she didn't play the sport, she covered sports from a national level. So it's just going to be quite the moment there in the White House. We'll bring you that live momentarily. We're also monitoring the situation outside the Pentagon there, where the Secretary of Defense and the Prime Minister are either meeting in the Pentagon at this moment, or we'll be showcasing that outside. We'll monitor that and bring you it as it happens. So again, if you'd like to follow us on Truth Social, it's at RSBN, or on X, it's at RSBN Network, so RSB Network. Speaking of X, yesterday, Elon Musk retruthing a piece of video from Right Side Broadcasting Network, just of the president signing executive orders yesterday. So that in front of more than 200 million of his followers, which,
right,
as you guys know, Elon Musk followed by people from countries all around the world. So that kind of coverage, or that kind of reach, is quite awesome, as we the people are really saying, you know what, we do resonate with grassroots organizations and news agencies like Right Side Broadcasting Network. Been there since day one on 2015. 10 years later, this summer, it will be 10 years of coverage and beyond, as we bring you America First news and coverage here at the network.
And a successful SpaceX launch as well yesterday. So that was fun to have that as part of the pool, and seeing everything that Elon has accomplished really in the last number of months and years, in addition to serving his adopted country, the United States. It's really exciting to see, and rather funny to watch the far left complain about it, because he will bring the much needed reforms and common sense, as President Trump has as well.
And that's such a great thing to see happen as we get ready to go there to the White House. Looking at any other headlines right now, of course, we saw recently that the president will be speaking to a joint session of Congress that's still yet less than a month away, just barely less than a month away, March 4th. But that's going to be quite awesome to see him address the 119th Congress, but also all of the executive orders that keep coming down the pike. You remember, there are more than 200 of these executive orders,
right,
that they're all connected to the 20 core promises for the American people.
Yes, and this one of the finest on the entire list of keeping men out of women's sports, biological common sense. This brought so many people together from Republican and Democrat traditional backgrounds in order to protect their children. And I think this is why you saw such a swing to the right, especially those mama bears, the Moms for Liberty, who were crucial to putting President Trump's campaign over that threshold. They have been hugely involved in this legislation, in this executive order, and we've seen other state legislative bodies follow in suit, whether that's the House of Representatives in Georgia, also Ohio as well. So would be great to speak with some of those legislators if they are watching as well, if they want to make some comments on their specific state laws, and then also what led to this heroic day.
Exactly. And some other news breaking, 911 reporting on X just moments ago at the Seattle Tacoma International Airport, Japan Airlines plane. This is a collision that happened on the tarmac, not one in the air, with a parked Delta plane. So this is not a major breaking news story. Just letting you know that this is something that's making its rounds on social media right now. Just the end of the tail of the Delta plane clipped a little bit by the wing of the Japan Airlines plane. This happening moments ago, about 5 minutes ago, according to Breaking 911. Following that here, also we're seeing that the California governor, Gavin Newsom, is in Washington, D.C. For a meeting with President Trump. That'll be quite interesting. As Robert said earlier, it'd be great to be a fly on the wall for that one. So, with all the back and forth that has been said, whether it's on Truth Social or other platforms, as we are, I believe we're waiting right there for the Prime Minister to pull up to the Pentagon, and I believe he'll just walk right into the Pentagon there and meet with the Secretary of Defense. Now, the question is, it seems as if there are people outside and military service members. So is there a greeting that's going to happen here? And are they going to have podiums outside there? Not sure. We'll follow it as you follow it here, as we see one of the D.C. police there driving up, possibly the Homeland Security vehicles and that kind of thing. Why don't we go there live? And if we have to go to the White House, we'll break to that quick. Let's go there live right now.
Shoulder, ooh! Toes, ready, time.
Secretary Hegseth, are you planning to send U.S. troops to Gaza?
Can you rule out sending troops to Gaza? U.S. troops out of Syria.
All right, so what a time there, huh?
Oh yes, the Israeli national anthem entitled The Hope, and of course our beautiful national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. And great to see Pete Hegseth every time. He's been an outstanding Secretary of Defense and such a departure from the bureaucratic nonsense of the last administration to having a force for meritocracy and battle readiness there to help support our friends in Israel. And of course, some reporters, again, shouting some questions out there. Will you commit troops to the Middle East? That has not been committed to and is very unlikely. Of course, President Trump leaves everything on the table. He does not want America's enemies knowing what move he'll make, and that makes him so surprising. And our military, additionally, lethal. But now we've seen increases, a 15-year the height and increase in recruitment thanks to people like Secretary Hegseth and President Trump.
Exactly. When you get back to patriotism and we the people and the Constitution and the Bible and all the stuff we voted for President Trump to win this thing, it made it too big to rig, and it turned out for the good. So looking forward to seeing the president in the East Room of the White House. That is, I believe, the West Wing at this point. So we'll see if anybody of note walks in or out there. Of course, pretty much everybody that's going into the White House or leaving is somebody of note, including the Texas Governor Greg Abbott meeting with the president, also the California Governor Gavin Newsom as well. So those two meetings happening today. As soon as there is the East Room live feed, we'll go there as well to see the No Men and Women's Sports executive order being signed by the president. Awesome moment that we'll have here live for you. And I just want to get some inside baseball to share with you guys on some of the live feeds that we're seeing, specifically the one outside the Pentagon there, we saw the Secretary of Defense awaiting the Prime Minister, and then the two anthems played. At the end, you saw a frozen shot. That's not because it was a recording. When the live feed is done and they turn it off from there, it just would be on the last image that was there. So just wanted to share that with you. And also, whenever you see that live bug in the top corner of the screen, it is live here at the network. And we do our best always to put words like moments ago or recorded earlier. So just to let you know if it's live or if it's not. I just wanted to share that with you because we do call this show here, this broadcast, RSBN Live. So we're live here in the studio. You're looking at two other live pictures right now as it's about 3:14 on the East Coast. Every day, something to cover here at Right Side Broadcasting Network as this 24/7 news cycle has turned into a hyper-speed news cycle. So it's kind of hold on to your seats there as we cover everything that we see happening. And also, again, outside of the Beltway as well, as we cover America First news, but also breaking news from around this country and in some cases around the world.
Yes, welcome to the live desk. So we're a morning show, we're an afternoon show, we're an evening show. You will be catching yours truly and Matthew Alvarez round the clock to give you all of this content within the Beltway and outside of it. And please feel free to reach out at feedback@rsbn.tv. That's feedback@rsbn.tv. Whether you have an issue happening in your neck of the woods, something you'd like us to see when it comes to state and federal legislation, let's talk about it. And even some fun stuff like Super Bowl Sunday coming up at Super Bowl 59, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles live from New Orleans, Louisiana, and that will be at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern in the evening on Sunday. And we know that Kristi Noem was down there as well, the new Secretary of Homeland Security, assessing the arena, the surroundings with federal, state, local partners to make sure that's safe, and President Trump being the first sitting president to attend the competition.
Looking forward to seeing that. That's going to be great as we have to get through a number of work days until we get to the weekend, of course, to watch that great game and see the first sitting president to attend. So it'll be quite awesome. As well as this live coverage that we have here, looking to get Ricardo Martins on the live stream as well with us, because he is someone that is connected, with Brazil, being from Brazil, living now in the States. Just to shift gears slightly, because Jair Bolsonaro, the former leader of Brazil, and the people love Jair Bolsonaro. He is like a MAGA candidate, a MAGA president. Just jumped on Truth Social. So Jair Bolsonaro on Truth Social, which is great to see, leaders of the free world come together on such a great social platform. Obviously, Jair already on X, but it's awesome just to see everything growing exponentially in these live streams. People choosing the live streams and the apps over the mainstream, and it's happening every day, and it's just growing and growing and growing.
Well, and Truth Social itself continues to grow with some of their media outlets, and you can see what they're streaming, including RSBN on a regular basis. So if you watch from there or X, the meta platforms of Facebook and Instagram, of course, please like, share, and subscribe so that people know that they can get all of this unbridled content, because other outlets might catch it for a minute or two or have a couple of comments after the fact. We actually show you what happens so you can make up your own mind at home.
Exactly. Like today's press briefing was from start to finish. A lot of networks, they have to go to a commercial or they have to go to a different guest, which is, different strokes, as they say. But we want to cover everything when it comes to especially the press briefings, when it comes to the president, various speeches, when he has the Q&A session with some of the fake news there. And we know that it's not all fake news anymore within the White House, which is great to see, as conservative media and podcasters and the whole new media thing that is happening, which is awesome because it's all about freedom of speech and freedom of the press, and of course our great Constitution as a whole. So looking forward to this coverage here in the East Room, as well as we get ready to see the president go there. Now, we do know, again, he's meeting with two governors. He met with the governor of Texas and now the governor of California. So however long those meetings will last really is a telling sign of when we might see the East Room live feed and go there live.
Right, exactly. And President Trump really at a breakneck pace, but never seems to hinder him, and he always has the most energy in the room. I actually watched a video on Instagram this morning, and it was Eric Trump talking about how he doesn't need much sleep either, and it might be something genetic in the family, but they rise and shine pretty early, 5 a.m. If you notice, the Hello magazine as well did a lovely spread on the First Lady, and she spoke on that as well, that being a high energy person, roughly rising between 5:30 and 6 and getting right to work. So there are people who are used to going round that clock, you know, that New York lifestyle, and that's how he built arguably one of the greatest business empires in history.
Exactly. So looking forward to that coverage coming up here. Let's go to a bit earlier today as we await this live feed from the East Room of the White House, where earlier today the United States Attorney General Pam Bondi was sworn in as the AG, and also the top person at the Department of Justice. So as the Marine goes right into the West Wing right there, again, as soon as there is a live feed from the East Room, we'll take you there live and in its entirety. Director, as soon as we're ready to roll, the Pam Bondi swearing in, and also President Trump joined her there in front of a number of people as well. So they're working on getting that video for us as we are, again, live here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. You know, it's been quite the coverage here over the years with all the rallies and the campaign trail and all that. And it was powerful times here where we heard from we the people and what they were concerned about and why they were voting for which candidate they were voting for. You know, and we know that 99.9% of the people we talked to, of course, outside of the Trump rallies, obviously voting for President Trump. But we see the majority of the country sticking to common sense and rejecting wokeism and rejecting that whole weak ideology that is just based in Marxism, Darwinism, and Nietzsche and others. You know, getting some of that information, to be honest, from that book, The Woke Mind Viruses from T.S. Dixon. But still, though, I mean, it's some of it's common knowledge, of course, but there's other things in that book that are great. But it's great to kind of get the context of why people believe what they believe. It's kind of cool.
Good to understand how people think on different issues, and that's what's so unique about Right Side Broadcasting over the last decade. We got to talk to you, the American people, about what brought you to MAGA and this entire movement that has peacefully and patriotically saved the world. Some breaking news from this morning. Scott Turner is now the Secretary Designate of Housing and Urban Development. His nomination confirmed by the U.S. Senate today at 11:38 a.m. Eastern Time. So President Trump's cabinet continues to grow. And we'll send it over to that video from this morning. Pam Bondi, the 87th Attorney General of the United States, sworn into office by Clarence Thomas, the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, alongside President Trump in the Oval Office.
As Mr. Timmons from South Carolina. To recognize Mr. Timmons.
Hello, everybody. This is a great honor and a real privilege. I'm thrilled to be here today with our nation's next incredible, and she will be incredible, Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi. And I want to congratulate Pam. She's worked hard, so hard, and unbelievably fair and unbelievably good at law enforcement. I just want to congratulate you. Very special person. And I'd also like to thank Justice Clarence Thomas and his incredible wife, who's here someplace. There she is. Incredible, highly respected wife, too, I will say. I remember a couple of years ago, a little bit more than that, during toward the end of my first term, I was introducing a lot of people at a big event, about 5,000 people, in your biggest ballroom. You know what that is? And they were getting a nice smattering of applause. They were very important people. And then I introduced Justice Clarence Thomas. The place went crazy. And it was then that I realized that you are a very popular guy and respected guy. So thank you for being here. It's an honor and a great honor for Pam. Thank you very much. Pam was a career prosecutor for nearly 20 years and was one of the toughest and smartest and best and most successful attorney generals in the history of Florida. And I think, I put it out this morning, I think she's going to end up going down as the most successful, or certainly one of the most successful attorney generals that this country has ever had. I really believe that. I know her well. A lot of people in Florida, if you're in Florida, you know her well, and it was all good. It was never a problem, no problem. As a prosecutor, she locked up drug dealers and gang members and human traffickers and was waging war all the time on the pill mills, they called them, that fueled the deadly opioid crisis. And she did better than anybody else. There was nobody like her in the country. She also won over $50 billion in lawsuits for the victims of financial fraud and devastating Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which was brutal, and she was the leader of that whole deal, that people taken care of. As Attorney General of the United States, Pam has a historic and urgently needed task ahead of her, and probably there's never been a time, Clarence, that's more important than right now. We went through 4 years of not such good work in many ways, not just with the president, at other levels also with the president, obviously. She's going to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice and restore the constitutional rule of law in America. She will lead the Democrats. You know where they're going to, at least she's going to lead them right down. But I think she's going to be as impartial as you can possibly be. I know I'm supposed to say she's going to be totally impartial with respect to Democrats, and I think she will be as impartial as a person can be. I'm not sure if there's a possibility of, but she's going to be as total as you can get, Gianni, right? But she's going to be fair, and she'll lead the Department of Justice in crushing violent crime, demolishing the gangs, which are all over the place. If you look at New York, if you look at Chicago, if you look at Los Angeles, which is half burned down, unfortunately, because they didn't have the water and they didn't have what they were supposed to have. Destroying the terrorist cartels is going to be a very big priority for Pam, and that leads to crime and it leads to a lot of drugs. So she's going to take care of it, and she'll stop the invasion of our country and get fentanyl off our streets. And we're going to be working with her very closely. Christine Holm and Tom Homan and all of the people are going to be working very closely with Pam. She's going to end the weaponization of federal law enforcement and restore honesty and integrity at the DOJ and the FBI. And she's going to be working with Cash, and she's going to be working with a lot of other people that you've been reading about, writing about over the last few weeks. The role of Attorney General comes with immense responsibility, but I have absolute confidence that Pam will fulfill her duties with honor and courage and strength and fairness. She's going to be fair. She's going to be very fair. And now I'd like to invite Justice Thomas to administer the oath of office. And thank you all for being here. It's a very important day, I believe, in our country's history. Thank you very much.
I do solemnly swear
I, Pamela Bondi, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Says, I just want to introduce her very, very handsome husband. I hate being around him. He looks too good, and he's been a tremendous factor with Pam, and have just a beautiful relationship. Who's here? And Mother, look how good you look, huh? Look how...
All right, so just a programming note. Of course, that was a replay from earlier today when Pam Bondi was being sworn in as the United States Attorney General. Obviously, President Trump making remarks there. We've played that a couple times here and had it on live as well. So if you'd like to see that clip, you can always scrub back on Rumble or YouTube. Also, I believe we have a lot of those clips on Truth Social and X as well. So it was a great moment there for Pam Bondi. So let's go now live right now back to the East Room in the White House as we get ready to see President Trump sign this executive order, No Men in Women's Sports, live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
I will not be here. Jim, you never will. When he goes in, I'm guessing you're charming.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Yep.
Stay low.
Thank you.
I want to do that.
Sure. Yeah, and it's only for the parents. Right, I understand. I'm just letting you know. Thank you. I give you what I can, but I ain't got much. It's only television. Yo! Well, you know what? No. No, because I'll probably break it. There's a good chance of that. No, and I feel like I'm too city. But I twist a lot, I move them. Nah, I'll be okay. I got the flip out. And I feel like I can make this move better on this surface than on that. Thank you, though.
Not during. I got no place to go. I can't get to my lower step.
If he goes up high for the signing.
I got crusty. Anything for you. That's fine. I mean,
it looks like it's going to be.
Too bad you don't have a bird. Too bad you don't have a bird on the bird cage with it. What? Nobody likes you, already.
time? Mike for who? That would be Scritch. A mic for Garrett? Microphone for Garrett? That Scritch can hear? It's for Scritch's rod shot too. It's for a question. For questions. Hang on, Stacy Klein.
Jim's got something.
And open face courts, and we used to like these. This is bullshit lighting. I mean,
Well, this is a crummy display. Should always use. This should always be the back.
Yeah, right.
Makes it feel bigger.
Yeah, the way it is. You get all that depth down the hall.
Right. That's the best part.
Right.
Makes it feel bigger, grander. I'm loving the addition of the uniforms personnel. He leaves. He has the guys line up along the hallway now and stand at attention.
Oh, you know where they go.
Yeah, not here.
No. And I wonder if their heads will turn with me as he walks by. I wonder if they'll do that too.
I don't think they do.
He's hit that light at least once with that boom on.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? All sorts of things. A handful of governors here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
This is a nice crowd, isn't it, huh? You've been waiting a long time for this. So have I. Actually, it was so ridiculous. But here we are. And this doesn't have to be long. It's just all about common sense. Doesn't have to be long. In a few moments, I'll sign a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports. It's about time. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women. But before going further, I want to share some very exciting news from our military. After years of shrinking force numbers at levels that nobody has ever seen before, 4 years of this we went through, and missed recruiting targets every single month, it was just announced that in December, the U.S. Army had its single best recruitment in more than 15 years. Thanks. Every single day, nearly 350 new soldiers enlisted to defend our nation, and they're very, very happy to have done so. We've done lots of interviews, and we asked why this was taking place now, and they just said there's a spirit about our country that they haven't seen in many, many years, and I happen to agree with that. But it really is clear proof that the spirit is sweeping our armed forces, and we have a great leader in Pete. As you know, we all know Pete so well. He's going to be fantastic, and so many of our great heroes, and people are starting to understand what hero is all about. So that is something that is very important. We've gotten the woke lunacy out of our military. And now we're very importantly getting it out of women's sports. That's taking place very strongly. So in recent years, the radical left has waged an all-out campaign to erase the very concept of biological sex and replace it with a militant transgender ideology. You've heard a little bit about this, haven't you? Huh? Just a little bit? Does anybody agree with them? No. It would be not a good thing to say yes right here. Female athletes have been forced onto the front lines, and men claiming to be girls have stolen more than 3,500 victories. That's a lot. And invaded more than 11,000 competitions designed for women. Last year, a male cyclist posing as a woman competed in the 800-mile Arizona Trail Race, a very big deal in cycling, and obliterated the women's course record by nearly 5.5 hours. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it, huh? 5.5 hours, but you have to hear the weightlifting records. You think that's bad. The weightlifting's worse. In 2023, a man in women's powerlifting broke 2 world records and outlifted his closest female opponent in one event by 440 pounds. And they continue to defend themselves. Mr. Congressman, you know that, right? They continue to defend themselves. We hope they continue onward because I don't think we can lose a race. This was one of the big reasons that we all won, and it's one of the big reasons that we had a record, a landslide like they haven't seen before, very often anyway. And who could forget last year's Paris Olympics where a male boxer stole the women's gold medal after brutalizing his female opponent so viciously that she had to forfeit just after 46 seconds, and she was a championship fighter. And actually, they had 2 women or 2 people that transitioned, and both of them won gold medals, and they won them very convincingly. But all of that ends today because with this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. Thank you, everybody. Should have been done long ago, actually. Thank you. Thank you very much. With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding. So this will effectively end the attack on female athletes at public K-12 schools and virtually all U.S. colleges and universities. I don't think we've missed anything, but if we do, we'll make it up very quickly with an order, and I don't think we will at all. I want to, before we go on, I want to thank so many people that have worked so hard in the political establishment, and they're before me largely, and I think I'm going to miss a few. It always happens when you do this, but it's just one of those things. But we have many senators here, many governors here, many state attorneys generals here. They're all over the place, actually, I see. Some of them went after me, but they failed. And they're really friends, and they're friends of women's sports, that I can tell you. So Senator Marsha Blackburn, where's Marsha? Hi. Senator Katie Britt. Thank you, Katie. Mike Lee, where's Mike? Mike. I love his new haircut. I love that haircut, Mike. He just said the hell with it, right? I think you look great. Senator Cynthia Loomis. Cynthia, where are you? Cynthia, hi, Cynthia. Doing a good job. And Roger Marshall. Thank you, Roger. Great. Mark Wayne Mullen, Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma. I don't know what it is, Oklahoma. I won 77 out of 77 counties. It's never been done. Second was Ronald Reagan, 56, right? Yeah. And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach. You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good. He's a good guy, too. Also, governors, we have Governor Glenn Youngkin, Virginia. Thank you, Glenn. Good job. Bill Lee of Tennessee. Bill, thank you. Jeff Landry, Louisiana. Thank you, Jeff. Kim Reynolds of Iowa. Thank you. We're trying to move, education back to the states. You do know that. We're making a big move, and we're counting on Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon. And sitting next to you is the new Star is Born. Caroline, congratulations. You've done great. New Star. Star is Born. Patrick Morrissey. Patrick, congratulations. Great race. A great friend of mine, and he's really helped us at the border, done a great job, of Texas, Greg Abbott. Thank you, Greg. Jim Pillen, where are you? Jim, very good. Very good. Are you feeling good? He had a bad fall. You doing all right, huh? Good. You look great. Brad Little. Brad, thank you, Brad. Good job. Good job. Do you like education going back to your state? You'll make it top, right? Just so people understand, in the education world, we're ranked very, very poorly. We're 38, 39, and 40 out of 40 countries. We're at the bottom of the pack almost always, or very close to it. That just came out. We're 40 out of 40. And if we move it back to the states, I will guarantee you that If you take Idaho, you take Iowa, you take almost any of the states that I'm looking at right now, they'll be as good as Norway. You have Sweden, you have Denmark. I must say you have China that's very high in the pack, which is no longer, we can say it has to be a small area. China is very big, but they do a very good job. But we'll have at least 35 of our states that will be as good or better than any of those countries, and we have to get it done. Attorney General Steve Marshall. Steve, thank you very much. Steve, wherever you may be. General Tim Griffin. Thank you. Thank you. A person who was so wonderful. Brenna Bird, where are you? Brenna Bird. Thank you. She supported me before people wanted to support me, right, Brenna? Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciated it. Andrew Bailey, great job. Where's Andrew? Great. Stand up, Andrew. One of the great attorney generals. Thank you very much. One of the greats, really. And Jason Miyares. Thanks, Jason. And now we get back to our members of Congress, and we'll go quickly, but it's a great group of people. Steve Scalise is right in front here. What a brave guy Steve is. Steve went through a lot, and he proved one thing to me, only one thing, that his wife loved him. His wife loves him because I went to the hospital that night, and he was not given even a shot, right, Mike? And I was with him, and I was with his wife, and she was devastated. She was really devastated. And I've been to, similar situations, not quite as bad, but the wives were not so devastated. And I can tell you that great wife of yours loves you. So anyway, and what you've done is incredible. The way you've come back, it's you look better now than you did before it happened. But nobody wants to go through that. Yeah, it's amazing. Tom Emmer doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Tom. Great job. Lisa McLean. Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Good job. Virginia Fox. Hi, Virginia. Tim Wahlberg, Michigan. Tim, great. Jason Smith, great man on taxes. Great man on how are the taxes doing? Okay. We're going to get good things passed, I hope, right? Juan Ciscomaris, Arizona. Where are you, Juan? Hello, Juan. Stand up, Juan. You look so good. You always look good. Kevin Kiley. Kevin, wherever you may be. What happened? How come he had no applause? Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert. Very much a leader in this. Thank you, Lauren. Kat Kamek, Florida. Thank you, Kat. Byron Donalds. He's doing good. Byron's doing good. Where is he? You're doing good, Byron. Laurel Lee. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you. Great job. Anna Paulina Luna. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Greg Stubbe hit a home run wearing a Trump cap. The only one to hit a home run out of the park during your crazy baseball game, right? I think I will come. I think I'll come. If you're playing, I'll come. Somebody that's very shy. This is a very shy person, but she's trying to break out of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Victoria Sparts. Thank you, Victoria. Great job. Ashley Hinson. Ashley, thank you. Marionette Miller Meeks. Good job you did. Good job. Great job. Mary Miller. Hi, Mary. Julia Letlow. Hi, Julia. Claudia Tenney from New York. Claudia. Hi, Claudia. Hi. Great job. Nicole Meliatakis. Hi, Nicole. Good. Doing good. I saw a great poll with you, Nicole. Michelle Fishbach. Thank you. Great job. Ann Wagner, Missouri. Thanks. Sherry Biggs, South Carolina. Thanks, Sherry. Great job. Nancy Mace. Where's Nancy? Here's something. Oh, are you a believer in what we're doing, Nancy? Nancy takes it on right from the start, right? Would you like to say something? Would you like to say we're doing the right thing? Good. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nancy. Stephanie Bice, Oklahoma. Thanks, Stephanie. Diana Harshbarger. Thanks, Diana. Good job. Tim Burchett. Tim, I watched you on television the other day. You were unbelievable. You ripped that guy apart. Man, that poor guy, he started getting a little fresh with Tim, and Tim just ripped him apart. That was beautiful. I actually left a message. That's good. Great job, Tim. That was great. Monica De La Cruz. Monica. Great. Ronnie Jackson. Ronnie. Dr. Ronnie. He's a doctor, a great admiral, and a great congressman, right? Pretty good. He has his choice. What do you like doing best, Ronnie? That's right. Who is the healthiest patient you ever had? You know why I liked him? The fake news asked, so doctor, he had Obama, Bush, and Trump in the White House. He was the White House doctor. And they asked him, who's the healthiest of the three? He said, it's not close. It's Donald Trump. And from that moment, I love this guy. Right? Thank you, Ronnie. Wesley Hunt from Texas. Hi, Wesley. Beth Van Dyne. Beth from Texas. Thanks, Beth. Burgess Owens, a great athlete, an NFL star. Ken Kiggins from Virginia. Thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate it. Harriet Hageman, what a lawyer. Ooh. One of the most talented lawyers you'll ever see. What she did to her opponent was horrible. Let's see, who was her opponent? Let's see. Oh, does anybody remember her opponent? We tend to forget. We forgot that one, huh? And, you know, your speaker, I'm going to introduce him later anyway, but your speaker has been fantastic. Stand up, Mike. He's great. What a good man. A really good man. Also, some friends of ours, Sage Steele, has been very strong on the issue. Sage, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Tiffany Justice, Tina Deskovich, founders of Moms for Liberty, and they honored me, and it was a great honor. And thank you very much, both of you. Thank you. Heather Higgins, Andy Botner, Victoria Coley from Independent Women's Forum. It's a fantastic group of people that fought very hard on this issue. I think everybody in this room really fought very hard on this issue. Kim Fletcher, you know Kim? Debbie, I think Debbie's here. Crew Lidis from also Moms of America. And Penny Lance, of course, CEO of the Concerned Women for America. That is a lot of people. Thank you very much, Penny. Good job you do. That's a lot of people. Can I give here? Why don't you hold that? You sell it tonight. So, just to finish up, I'm directing the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who, by the way, is doing a fantastic job. In fact, he just left Panama. We're trying to take back the Panama Canal, little things like that. It'll all happen. But Marco is going to make clear to the International Olympic Committees there, and he's going to make it as clear as anybody can make it, that America categorically rejects transgender lunacy. We want them to change everything having to do with the Olympics and having to do with this absolutely ridiculous subject that we even have to talk about this subject. If you went back 10 years or 15 years and you would move forward and listen to this, you'd say, what the hell are they talking about? This is impossible. But you have people out there, Democrats, that are still totally in favor. They can't win the argument. They can't win a debate. They look like fools, and they continue to go on. And it's okay, because as long as they do this and open borders and all of the other things they talk about, transgender everything, all they want to do is transgender and men playing in women's sports and all of these crazy things. And if they continue, I think we're going to end up ultimately, it's not going to matter because we're never going to go along with them, and we're just going to keep winning elections, right, Mike? So when the Olympics comes to Los Angeles, I was responsible for getting the Olympics, and I said, oh boy, this is terrible because I got the Olympics and I won't be president. And then what happened is that in election, strange things happened in an election. So I missed 4 years, and now I have the Olympics. It was sort of circuitous. It was a circuitous situation. And we also have the World Cup coming, which is going to be fantastic. And we have, as you know, very importantly, 250 years coming. That's a big one next year, so that's a very big one. But in Los Angeles in 2028, my administration will not stand by and watch men beat and batter female athletes, and we're just not going to let it happen, and it's going to end, and it's ending right now, and nobody's going to be able to do a damn thing about it, because when I speak, we speak with authority. And for the same reason, just to make sure, I'm also directing our Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who's also she's out there with you, Greg, a fantastic job. She's unbelievable. I was watching her riding yesterday on a horse. She was as good as anybody. She's very good. To deny any and all visa applications made by men attempting to fraudulently enter the United States while identifying themselves as women athletes, try and get into the games, maybe where they are unable to get into the games. We're honored to be joined today by many incredible advocates for women's sports, including the brave swimmer at the forefront of this battle. And Riley Gaines is a person that I've been watching. Yeah. She fought hard. Riley was a 12-time All-American. Well, that's pretty good. 12-time All-American who sacrificed countless hours in the pool just for a chance at the title. It's so important to her. She gave up everything and just gave everything she had. But then the league forced her to share a spot on the podium with a male swimmer who took her trophy while the media celebrated this stolen glory. And Riley is just a tremendous athlete, and it was a very unfair situation. I watched it. A lot of people watched it. It was ridiculous, frankly. But I want to thank Riley. She really has been in the forefront. People that aren't that well versed in this would say that she was the leader. And great job, Riley. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And also with us is another great champion for women, Peyton McNabb. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete. Where is Peyton? Where is Peyton? I like Peyton. Nice to see you. Good job. Good job. Looks like a good athlete to me. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete preparing for a future in college sports, but in one volleyball match, a much taller and stronger male spiked the ball right in her face, knocking her unconscious, partially paralyzing her right side and leaving her with a traumatic brain injury. And Peyton said it was 100% avoidable if only my rights as a female athlete had been more important than a man's feelings, and we can't let it happen, and it's not going to happen. Not going to happen anymore, Peyton. It's not going to happen. Are you okay? Are you good? I'm doing a lot better. Good. That's good. Thank you. We're also pleased to be joined by many incredible leaders on this issue. And as I mentioned before, Speaker Mike Johnson, and he has been so strong on this issue because he's a man of common sense. I mean, it really is. It's common sense more than anything else. So, Mike, thank you. Great job. Great job in everything. He's got the easiest job of any politician in history. He's got the nicest, like 200 and almost 20. It sort of varies between, depends on how many people I take from my administration. It goes up and down a little bit, but I promised I won't take any more. I just wanted to see how good he was. I was testing you. And we have some great people, but he's filling them up rapidly. He had some big wins the other day, very big wins the other day. But you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And also the dozens of members of the House and Senate and governors, attorney generals, so many people, and the people outside that can't even get in. This room is packed. And, I offered to build a ballroom. I'm very good at building ballrooms. I build beautiful ballrooms. And I actually offered to build a ballroom for the White House. I was going to build it right there. This was going to be the reception room. And then I was going to build a beautiful, beautiful ballroom like I have at Mar-a-Lago, as beautiful as it can be. It was going to cost about $100 million. I offered to do it, and I never heard back. I offered to do it to the Biden administration, very active administration, and they didn't hear back. And I said again and again, 3-4 times, I said to top people, and they just didn't know what to do. They sort of said, this is good, but they had no idea. So I'm going to try and make the offer to myself, because we could use a bigger room. Right, Marshall? We could use a bigger room. President, would you like to build? Yeah, I would. We could use at the White House. It would actually be a beautiful addition. It's going to cost nothing. I'll spend the whole thing myself. We'll do a big, beautiful room, but we could use it at the White House. You know what they do when they have a big ceremony? They put up a tent. And somehow I think we've outgrown the tent stuff, right? Don't you think? So we'll see if they can, we'll see if Trump will approve it. But the actions we're taking today are the latest in a sweeping effort to reclaim our culture and our laws from the radical left crusade against biological reality. On day one, I made it official, and I'm making it official policy of the United States government that there is, two genders. We have two genders. What might they be? Man and woman, right? Male and female. Male and female. Can't think of too many others, but it's pretty amazing. I rescinded federal funds to, and this is so important, to any program that promotes transgender ideology using taxpayer dollars. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And last week, I effectively banned the chemical castration and surgical mutilation of minor children. Can you believe I even have to say that? I banned governor. I banned. That's just like, who would ever think we have to even say that? Last week, I banned. Every day, we're ending the extremism of the last 4 years. We have other things that are just as ridiculous, not having to do with the subject, but just as ridiculous. Open borders where people are allowed to pour in from all over the world, from jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, people that are very sick, people that are very evil, killers, murderers. Many of them murdered more than one person. And we have to justify the fact that we're moving them out. We are moving them out in tremendous numbers. Tom Homan and Christie are doing a fantastic job, and the governor and other governors too. But that we have to even fight for this stuff is just incredible. And the media doesn't want to talk about it because it's nothing they can talk about. It's just they just don't want to really talk very much about it. Serious problem, but we're doing a great job, and the people understand, and that's why we won in a landslide. You know, it's they made it easy. And at some point, you know, we have to hope they do come around because we can never let this happen again. What's happened to our country, we can never let this happen again. So we are restoring sanity and common sense very simply to our government. We're defending the rights and safety and pride of the American people, including our great, great, great female athletes. What athletes you are, too, I tell you. And, you know, I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But you know, like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's fantastic. And this is sort of a big, big day. It shouldn't have even been necessary to take place. This started a long time ago, and we ended it today. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now, and everything I said will go into effect immediately, okay? Thank you.
Sit down, please. Down in front. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you.
You know, if you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them? If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, you know, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Nice to see you all. Nice to see you. Great going, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you, kids. Here. Take a pen. I'll give some of these out, okay? Take a pen. Take a pen.
Thank you so much.
Where's Riley?
No questions taken. No questions taken.
What a historic moment in the East Room of the White House, live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Robert McNeely, I'm Matthew Alvarez, and sir, there's really not much to say after what we just saw there.
As President Trump put it about his signature, it's a 10, and an adorable photo, truly America's grandfather, defending women.
It was quite awesome to see there live in the East Room of the White House as families and staffers and so many people on the right side of the aisle there supporting such a great move there. No men in women's sports. That is now the law of the land here in the United States of America. Many great executive orders signed by the Commander-in-Chief. Many more to come, and we'll cover it here on RSBN Live. So let's thank a few sponsors here for all of the coverage that they provided us today, including Colonial Metals Group. All you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com for more information on gold and silver. Tell them more about it, Bobby.
Yes, you can scan that QR code there to shield your savings now, whether it be properties, assets, 401ks, or IRAs. Convert those into tangible gold, silver, and precious metals, something that has stood the test of time as your best bet and hedge against inflation, especially because the last 4 years, the national debt skyrocketing, groceries, the gas pump, all more expensive for us as American citizens. So scan that QR code for your free 2025 Gold Guide, Colonial Metals Group.
Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415 is the number. tnusa.com/RSBN. If you have any back taxes, you can get them settled. You can get some help, though, getting that done, and you can do that with tnusa.com/RSBN. Let's move on now to Republican Red Winery.
Yes, from Lodi, California, the Central Coast, a family-run and owned operation. They're some of the best in the business, and they happen to support the causes that you do, the Patriot viewers at home. So go to republicanred.com, code RSBN. A few proceeds, the portion of your proceeds will actually go to these great conservative and Republican causes. As talking to Sam Markstein yesterday about RJC and the plans for the future, Moms for America, Moms for Liberty, they were with President Trump today. These groups, these nonprofits committed to saving the country. Elections right around the corner. So think about Wine Wednesday and Super Bowl Sunday. So you're sipping on that delicious wine. You're also supporting the causes you care dearly about.
President Trump, the first president to be attending a Super Bowl coming up, Super Bowl 59 on Sunday. Let's move on now to Brightcore. So mybrightcore.com, introducing you to Kimchi One. You see that right there on the right side of your screen. This probiotic gets the job done. All you have to do is go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN for more information. Great product and awesome sponsor here at the network. Let's move on to patriotaddictdeals.com. So many deals on there, so many products, including the Trump combat knife. Robert knows a lot about a lot of stuff on there too. He checks out every product that is sold on this network pretty much.
And they do run out of options sometimes. That's why I got that Trump plane. So make sure you get that combat knife and 30% off. I mean, RSBN 30, the code there. You can claim that right now with your QR code, and this site just has amazing deals, so you might as well take advantage of it.
And speaking of great deals, mypillow.com. Use the RSBN promo code for a sizable percentage off, as it's called what?
The Mega Sale.
There it is, the mega sale. A lot of great percentages off there. Go to mypillow.com/RSBN. Also, speaking of RSBN, guys, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Donations are also helpful to continuing our live coverage as we continue to cover America First news and breaking news, and also everything inside the Beltway in D.C., outside the Beltway, and on. So all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801 for more information, and also to donate if you'd like. And go to rsbnetwork.com/newsletter, a great newsletter here at the network.
Oh, one of the best. And you'll get all those updates right into your inbox and to your phone. Some great writers here at the network as well that keep you informed. If you have to just watch or read instead of watch sometimes, say you're in that cubicle and trying to get some of the news, it'll pop right up there on rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. Well, we have had an exciting day at the White House and really throughout Washington, D.C. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Of course, another great White House press conference by the new press secretary, a rising star, a superstar, as President Trump said it, Caroline Leavitt, doing an amazing job. And also we see continued confirmations of different officials, including Scott Turner, who is now the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development.
For all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, for Robert McNeely, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you soon live right here on RSBN Live.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Parents and grandparents, the 2024 Kids Guide to President Trump is here, and it's free. As a bonus, your child gets a free issue of Everbright Kids Magazine and Activity Book, and a free video lesson. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interviewed the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.